For today's video, I'm going to show you how to make this new pendant that I call the 3rd times a charm pendant. Now to make this pendant, you're going to need 3 14 by 10 stones. You're going to need size 11 Delicas. Those are here along the edges. You're going to need size 15 seed beads. That's here along the center of the stone. You're going to need a size 12 beading needle and 3 yards of 6-pound fire line or SoNo or whatever you want to use. So the first thing you want to do, thread your needle onto about 1 yard of the fire line or the SoNo, and you want to thread on 30 beads, 30 size 11 Delicas. If you are a tight stitcher, you may want to do 32. And once you have your 30 on there, then you'll want to double count to make sure you're correct. And remember, if you're a very tight stitcher, do 32. Okay, once you counted, you want to pull your beads down. Leave yourself a small tail here, and you want to tie the beads into a circle, and be careful not to get your knot caught up in the Delicas. Once you've done this, you'll go through 1 Delica right next to the knot. Now what I like to do is I like to take an ink pen or something that is close to the size that I'm going to be stitching, and I'll go ahead and thread it on there so that way you can see it a little easier, plus it's easier to hold on to. So I'm going to do tubular peyote stitch here, or circular peyote stitch. So I'm coming out of 1 bead. I'm going to skip 1 and then go through the next one. So that when you do, your bead pops right next into place. And I'm going to do this all the way around. I'm going to pick up 1 bead, coming out of 1, skip 1, and go through 1. Pick up 1, skip 1, go through 1. And you want to do this around the entire circle. Once you get to the end, you're ready to add your last Delica. So when you skip 1 and you go through 1, you'll be going through the last bead in the row. Now to step up to the new row, you want to come up through the very first bead that you threaded on in this row. Now for this entire row, all I'm going to do is pick up a Delica and go through the Delica sticking up. Pick up 1, go through the one sticking up. Pick up 1, go through the one sticking up. You want to go all the way around. Once you've come around to the end, you're ready to add your last bead. So you're going to go through the last bead sticking up of the row, and then to step up, go through the first bead of the row you just added. So I'm done with my Delicas. This is what it will look like, and I'm ready to start using my size 15 seed beads. So I'm going to pick up 115 and go through the Delica sticking up. And you want to do 2 rounds of the 15s. This is the first round. When you finish with this round, do step up and do one more round of the 15 seed beads. Once you've gone all the way around, this is what your piece should look like. I'm coming out of the last 15 that I added, and I'm going to stitch through my 11s to exit out an up Delica on the back side of my piece, one that's sticking up. Now I'm going to take my stone. I'm using a crystallite opal today. I'm going to turn it over, and I want to put it inside my casing, and you'll want a tight fit on your casing. So make sure you get it in there and that you get it even. Okay, once you have your bead inside the encasement, this is what the front should look like, and this is what the back should look like. You're going to go around the back, picking up 115 and going through the next up Delica, just like we did on the front. And you want to do 2 rows of these size 15 Delicas, pulling it tight so that it pulls down nice over the actual stone, and it will hold your bead in the encasement. So you want to do 2 rows. Once you have the back side completed, this is what your piece should look like. Now, when you finish the first one, you'll want to go ahead and do 2 more so that you'll have 3 identical pieces. On my last component that I just finished, what I'm going to do, or what I have done, is I have stitched through the beadwork to exit a seed bead. If you put your needle and you try to center, you put your needle and you try to center the bead, you'll find that right above a 15 is an 11 that is pretty much centered. There's no way to get this absolutely perfect, but just eyeballing it will work fine. So don't worry if it's not perfect. Now I'm going to take another stone and I'm going to connect each stone together. Now I want to try and get these centered as best as I can. And I have an easier time if I pick them up. And so I'm going to pick up 115. I'm going to find a bead, like I said, that's very close to the center. And I'm going to go through the 11 Delica right below one of my 15s. So I have a 15 above it and the 11 Delica below it. And I'm going to go through that bead. So that it'll look just like this when you have it complete. Now I'm going to pick up another 15 and I'm going to go through the same Delica that I'm coming out of on the piece that I just finished. So that when I do and I pull it, they are now connected together here with my 15s. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go through and reinforce this a couple of times and then tie this thread off with a couple of half hitch knots. Then I'm going to find the center. I'm going to lay my needle down. I'm going to find the center of this stone and I'm going to get the thread to the center of this stone with the tail that I still have. Once you've found the center, then you can connect it to the first one in the same method as we connected the third one to the second one. Then I found the center at the top, on the very top one we just made. Now we have to make the loop, the hanging loop for the actual pendant, and it's a double loop. So to start out with, you want to pick up 15 size 15 seed beads. And you want to come back through the same size 11 Delica you're exiting to make a circle. Reinforce the circle one more time by going back through all 15 seed beads again. And then through the Delica. Okay, so first loop is completed so far. And once you get that completed, if it looks like it's a little bit off, which mine looks like it may be one bead off, I'm going to take this loop and get it straight with the rest of my piece. Now that I have the piece a little better centered, I'm going to pick up 7 15s. I'm going to count 7 15s here on the loop, and I'm going to go through the 8th. So 2, 4, 6, 7, and go through the 8th. And make sure that loop comes to the front. Pick up 7 and go through the Delica. Okay, now you're ready to reinforce. So go back through the 7, the middle seed bead, and the 7 again, and then tie your thread off. Once you have the 3 pieces connected and your bell finished, this is what it should look like. Now to add my chain, I'm going to take my round nose pliers, and I'm just going to go in between the front and the back loops to open those up a little bit. I'm going to take my chain or beading wire or whatever you want to use and go through the center, so that now when it's centered, you'll have a beautiful new pendant. Again, I used a crystallite opal here, and I used the crystal AB with the crystal here on this one. We do have other colors of these ovals available on our Etsy site, as well as the pattern and kits. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video.